Okay, today we're going to build a streamer brush. This streamer brush will utilize materials that are new, coming from Cascade Crest Tools. We're going to use what we call our Phony Fox, play on words, F-A-U-X. It's a real fine material. We're going to use angel hair, and colors will be basically your choice of colors. These streamer brushes, when wound on a hook, actually almost look alive in the water. For building one, you're going to need wire, Cascade Crest Tools, Phony Fox, some type of angel fibers, a card brush in order to brush it out, and a good sized pair of scissors to cut it. We'll begin by winding some wire, getting it started. We'll take it over, drop it down, and let it set in place. We'll bring the tray up into place, and now what I would like to do is cut off, and notice I have my bench marked in different spots. I'm going to cut this about 1.5 inches wide, this material. Building a streamer brush requires that you get some flow with your material, and that should be enough. Let's try that and see what we come up with. I like to lay the material out and spread it out fine. As far as the material is concerned on these brushes, what you want to do is, what you will find is that less is actually better. Get it spread out, and these fibers, because they're so fine, when you pick it up, will actually hold itself together. Try to get it thinned out as much as possible. You don't want to get too much material in here, because it just makes a real dense brush, and it becomes too difficult to wind onto the hook. You can build crabs, shrimp, minnows, and all sorts of attractor patterns using this brush. We'll add a little flash, and it does not need much flash. Here I'm using some line flash to just to intermingle with the fibers themselves, to when when it's wound up the hook, this will highlight the material. You find that if you took white, you could change the actual color of the white into just innumerous colors by the addition of different colors of flash. Bring the wire back. Adjust the material. I like to pick early when it starts to get locked in, but not pick hard enough to pull the material through or lose it. There will be a small amount of material that will be lost, but for the most part, this brush will retain probably 99% of the material that is wound in here. What you're looking for is lumps, high spots, places where the material seems to be bound up. That's what you want to work on to pull out. All the while winding this, I want to make sure that I don't get to the point where I pull material loose. It puts a void in the entire brush, and that's what you want to stay away from. It's one of the reasons why you don't want to overdo the material, and another reason why you don't want to do entirely too much brushing too early. On my machine here, I have marks on it so I know where it's safe to start brushing, and I have it marked when I know it's getting close to where the drive that is attached to the spring is getting near the end. Sometimes you need to be careful that applying too much pressure, you could also break the wire if it's light wire. I'm getting down to where I would consider it my danger point, that I may be at a point where I could actually break the wire. If that should happen, hopefully it will break close to the hook here where it normally would do, or right up here close to where it's connected on the right hand side. Using a electric streamer brush machine gives me a chance to actually allow it to work with without having to spin it by hand, where I could keep brushing and pay attention to the places that I need to brush out without having to pay attention to reaching over and spinning it. I kind of like it a lot better. Well, I'm getting pretty close to where I'm pretty much done with my spinning. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this off and kind of like brush the rest of it out. The reason that I designed this streamer machine the size that I did as opposed to the smaller ones, which basically build an 8 or 9 inch brush, is because I don't want to take the time to build a brush that I'm going to tie flies with, that I can only tie 2 or 3 flies with when I get done with it. One of these brushes now will build as many as 8 flies, and while I seem to be taking my time with it, the truth of the matter is this brush is ready to be applied. This color will work great on crab patterns, toads, minnow patterns, tails for minnows. In larger sizes, I could tie this up for tractor patterns for South America, payara, and peacock bass. I could use these for heads on snook, redfish, speckled trout flies, of which I build them all the time. But there you have it. It's pretty much completed. You can see that the amount of material in the brush is not that great. And if I go like this here, you can see what came out was a residue of a lot of flash that broke loose. And there you have a dubbing brush machine, or a streamer brush machine, built by Ron Cavalier using all Cascade Crest items. The wire comes from Cascade Crest, the angel fibers come from Cascade Crest, and this material, this Phony Fox, has one supplier, and that's Cascade Crest. I can assure you this is one heck of a smooth, live looking material in the water. There it is.